Okay, go ahead.
So there's what's called the Rico Act. So the Rico Act is when they're able to connect organized crime together and bring down a multitude of people. So one of the things about the Rico Act is...
Come over here a little bit. Just so it's...
Oh, yeah. The Rico Act actually is a minimum of 20 year life in prison, and then they seize assets of the person who's involved in any kind of smuggling, trafficking, corruption in some cases, murder.
Anything
like that.
And just to be clear with the language around it, any if you receive a single level of proceed, a single dollar which you can contribute to you gaining proceeds of some level, all of your assets can be forfeited.
They can be forfeited right now, and that was done through Trump's executive order back on December 12, 2017. So a lot of what's going on right now, behind the scenes, if you will, is they're connecting these dots.
Yep.
Right? So, you look at the amount of sealed indictments in the country right now, which anybody can look up.
Yep.
And this is why things have been taking as long as they are. But once they start having people with this RICO Act, because again, if these people are involved in this stuff, their families,
any level,
let's
talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
So we know everyone's made it clear, all of Jeffrey Epstein's behaviors was well known. Mm-hmm. So, and there's a law supposedly that says if you know of a crime being committed, you're required to report it.
Correct.
Okay, and then in addition to that, every single business he ran with front companies for money laundering. So any check he wrote or received from any company out there, even if it was just for consulting, makes all of that money and their affiliation infected, and a very good case to be argued.
And this is something a lot of people don't know. But during the financial crisis of 2008 and 2009, the Federal Reserve bailed out Jeffrey Epstein's hedge fund.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Do you know the name?
I don't know the name of it.
Okay.
You'll have to look it up.
I will.
But yeah, dig into this a little more, because that is really the head of the hydra.
Which makes the government also complicit to their crimes.
Well, I think certain agencies,
in some level,
in
RICO Act.
Absolutely. So I think when you look at the central bank system, really they're the ones behind the curtain with everything.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
And it goes deep with Epstein as well. And this is for the control of humanity. I mean, you look at what they've done to the currency. It's down 99% since the 1920s.
Absolutely.
Because they print this fiat money. Their biggest fear is gold.
Absolutely.
So if you look into the metals market's one of the most manipulated markets in the world.
And just to give you a little more detail, is fiat currency. The reason what you're specifically talking about is that, let's say 100 years ago, you could trade, I'm off on my numbers, but 1 ounce of gold for $1 of $1. Well, when you print off another dollar, it now makes it $2 for that 1 ounce of gold. And by continuously doing it, before you know it, now we're at $1,700 for 1 ounce of gold. Correct. And we're continuously diluting the value of our
not only that,
currency.
But what it does is it causes prices to rise.
Absolutely.
So anybody who has any common sense knows that things are more expensive, not only now, but with this pandemic thing. And this is with the rise of asset prices too. The more they pump asset prices, the more disparity they cause between humanity.
Absolutely.
You have the elites obviously getting a lot for it, and you've got wages stagnant or moving just a little higher. And you're now paying twice as much for a pound of ground beef.
And just for the compounding factor of what you're, in addition to what you're saying, is we have hundreds, if not maybe thousands of different world currencies, maybe a couple hundred different world currencies. I don't know how many currencies we have out there.
Oh, there's hundreds.
Hundreds at least. So when they're all pegging it to the U.S. dollar, and that's constantly being fluctuated or devalued, now it's like a catch-up with all these other currencies, because they're always a day behind in a sense
That's
of
correct.
a revaluation of their currency, and that's where currency trading, that whole sector of the world comes in.
Well, the foreign exchange markets are really what run everything. Okay, it's not the Dow Jones that you see at 5 o'clock at night on the news station. It's not that. It's what's going on behind the scenes in the currency market and the metals market. Because and I've done a lot of research in this, but when you really dig deep into the metals market, when was the last time an audit was done on Fort Knox?
Absolutely.
1970s. Where's the gold?
Absolutely.
Where is it? And what they do is they have these ETFs like GLD where people invest and buy into. Now, what the prospectus says in GLD is that you can actually convert that into physical gold. Well, the problem is
where's the gold?
Number one, where's gold? But number two is the amount of shares that they've issued with GLD. Okay, can't cover even a fraction of the gold they say they have.
Absolutely.
So this is why we must go back to a gold-backed system.
And to just talk a little bit more about what you're saying right there, you're talking about the amount of paper currency that has been issued on claim for the actual physical gold and silver. Correct?
Well, so we came off the gold standard. Essentially what the Federal Reserve note is it's a note of debt. Okay.
Yep.
So the way it works is the Federal Reserve uses U.S. taxpayer dollars, okay, and issues debt, and then they buy back securities. It's like Peter paying Paul.
Yep.
You know, except the U.S. taxpayer revenues are used to do this. Okay, which in my opinion is completely ridiculous. You know. And even for asset prices, even for stock markets, because this isn't reality, and everybody knows that at this point. I mean, you even talk to people in finance who've known this for decades, but now even common people around the street are seeing what's going on. So really, the entire central bank system has to be, number one, either disassembled or revamped.
Absolutely.
We have to go back to the gold currency, because if we have a gold-backed currency, it's going to make our currency stronger. We want a strong currency.
Absolutely.
You know, and it amazes me that these people in charge are talking about inflation. So they talk about all these fake governors. We need to get inflation up. Why? So things are more expensive for everybody else.
Absolutely.
So, and that's the real trick here, is that, you know, when people start diving into this, they start doing their own research into it. I mean, the greatest thing that could happen to humanity really is deflation. The only reason why they're pushing inflation so much is because they've issued so much darn debt that
they think that's going to pay off the debt.
Exactly. So, for example, if you issue $100 million worth of debt, and now all of a sudden you have inflation,
absolutely,
and now you have $120 million worth of useless Federal Reserve notes. Well, that then gets used to pay the $100 million down, and then make the profit. You see?
Absolutely.
So,
it's the power of fiat currency, man. It's the why you can never pay it off.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So I think what ultimately has to happen is they're going to have to do some kind of debt forgiveness or something, because the GDP, the debt to GDP in the ratio in the United States right now is somewhere, and don't quote me on this, around 120%. In some countries, it's even worse. And it can't sustain itself.
Absolutely. Nope.
So this is a real pickle for everybody.
Yeah.
And this is just my feeling. What's been going on is I think there's been a slow transition into this. So you look at Judy Shelton, who's the now new nominee for the Federal Reserve Board of Governors that Trump supports. She's also in support of a gold-backed currency. Well, you had a letter come out this week, okay, from ex-Fed officials, you know, staff, whatever, saying she's a really bad choice. You got to reject her. Why? Why? Because the Fed loses its entire game and entire power if that gold-backed currency comes back in, because they're gone. What's the point of it?
Brother, I appreciate it 100%. Thank you. Thank you for the conversation. It's there's man, you know, it doesn't matter what president takes a hold. No one can really comprehend the level of things that need to be caught up on when you take over that role. It's like literally you just spend 4 years becoming aware of the shit, and then you, if you get a chance, you have another 4 years to guide that energy down, some moderate change, and
well, really, you know, and I'll end with this because I think this is a really important point. And this is a pretty liberal town here, probably the second most liberal in the entire country. And it's not about right and left. It's not about liberal and conservative. It's about the system. You see, and that's where the common thread comes in for everybody. Everyone knows the system's broken.
Yep.
At some level or another. You know?
Thanks, brother.
And I really think that this election is not about politics.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
We're
here
about
from 10 to 3 every Saturday.
We're all one. We all come from the same consciousness. We're all here to experience this reality. And unfortunately, we're caught in, I don't want to use the word prison for lack of a better word, but
we're in a reality of constant cognitive dissonance.
Oh, well, that's number one. But number two, also of suppression, right?
Absolutely.
Suppression.
Of our confidence, of our power. Absolutely.
You look at people who have 2 or 3 jobs and they have to support 5 kids. You got people that can't pay rent right now.
Yep.
And then you got these central bankers just raking in the money.
And I was just telling someone earlier about that, how best to distract people from this pedophile issue is to make everyone become survivors again. Absolutely. Immediately. It's like, I don't have time to be concerned about my kids because I don't even know if I can feed them. Yeah, they might have been molested, but do I be concerned to feed them, or should I try to nurture their molested issues?
Well, that's another thing too, is that everybody has a lot of traumas, and this topic is bringing up a trauma in the collective that needs to be clear.
Absolutely.
Okay? Because even if somebody wasn't an abuse survivor, like you said, it makes everybody a survivor.
Absolutely.
This is crazy stuff, man.
Yep.
And this has been going on for a long time, and there's people on both sides of the aisle.
Absolutely.
And again, that's why this isn't a political issue. This is actually a human conscience issue.
Absolutely.
And I think really that's what's going to unite people in the end. And Trump being an outsider, and a lot of people don't know this, Trump used to be a Democrat. Okay? Mm-hmm. He used to be a Democrat. He went over the Republican ticket when he ran for president. You look at some of his policies, okay? They are centrist.
Yeah.
And I've actually watched an interview, and I'm sure you can look this up, of people going around college campuses talking about Trump's issues as if they were Biden's, and everybody supporting him 100%. And then telling them they were Trump's, and then they walked away.
And they walked away.
So I think really the brainwashing of this whole experiment has been pretty severe. But I'm faithful, and I believe that people
when they shut off the farmer's water.
And it's all about getting the information out there and really having people make up their own minds.
Absolutely.
Instead of having some actor on a cable news show.
Absolutely. Telling us what we think, what we feel, what we are, what our core values are. No, it's like America, each and every one of us, we got to ask ourselves, what is our core values? And then ask, is the city we're living in line with our values? Is the town we're living in line with our values? Is the state we're living in line with our values? Is the country we're living in line with our core values?
Exactly.
And versus the other way around, you're going to follow our country's core values. No, we need to align our personal core values with the values of the corporate, or the values of the country, which in some level we find similarities on. And I'm hoping, again, this pedophile situation, we can find some common
I think that's really the elephant in the room, man.
Yeah.
I think that's the one, especially with parents and even people that aren't parents. And if they have a problem with that, then they got a big problem.
They got a big problem.
And that's a big issue. But in reality, we are all sovereign beings.
Yep.
And we actually were designed to make our own choices about things and not necessarily go with the herd. Right?
Absolutely.
But I can tell you just from my years of researching this, my observation of what's been going on is that the system is dividing us intentionally.
Absolutely.
Because the system knows that if humanity unites, their whole game is over. Over forever.
Absolutely. You got to keep everyone disagreeing and arguing.
Exactly. And like you said,
sorry, ma'am.
And fighting other things. So really, that's my biggest wish of this next few months, and even after, right? Even after this election, and you're seeing this awakening actually happen all over the world.
Absolutely.
It's not
absolutely
just here.
No, it's that.
But the United States is really the keystone of the whole thing.
Brother, I appreciate this conversation. Thank you for the conversation with. Someone yelled at me the other day. They said, "Mask," and I was a woman. I was like, "Do you not remember 6 months ago when you were encouraging your child to play in the dirt?" And she'd I was like, "Yeah, come on, we can't throw away your whole existence because some old guy told you to wear a damn mask."
Yeah.
And it's funny.
I'll tell you, it's really kind of.
We're gonna grab this.
Yeah. I'm gonna go eat my sandwich anyway. I'll be back. But it bums me out. I'm seeing people riding their bikes and masks.
I know, that's so stupid.
Around.
It's like, why are you wearing your mask?
It's like you're having hypoxia.
I know. It's like, oh my goodness. Thank you, brother.
Yeah,
appreciate you.
God bless.
We are a commitment-based purchase website, meaning that when you purchase something from our website, you are making a commitment to give away these brochures, give away and put on bumper stickers, put up the yard sign, or hang the flag. Our vision is to bring public awareness to organized pedophile rings. Our mission is to turn prey into predators, and our values is righteousness, bringing the light into the darkness, integrity, stay consistent, and endurance, never quitting. We also recommend to subscribe to other channels like Ryan Dawson, Sean Atwood, for more information around organized pedophile blackmail rings. Thanks so much. Please subscribe and have a great day, everyone.